Welcome back to an all new episode of What If here on the Filmaholic channel. And today we are continuing our 90s MCU with Captain Marvel, which would have came out May 1999. I'm going to let you kick things off with Captain Marvel there.
So I got my director. You've already used him in your MCU. I got Mel Gibson.
He's directing your Captain Marvel?
He's directing my Captain Marvel, dude. A few years after Braveheart, the studio's going to give him a chance to do this. It's the new age of the MCU. This is how they're kicking it off.
Didn't care about getting a female director then. They were like, nope.
Don't
care.
Not in the 90s. You know that was not a big thing at all. So for my Carol Danvers, only one choice, Amy Adams.
Excuse me?
It's the only choice.
How old was she then? Like 16?
No, man. She was like 25. She's only a couple years younger than.
What was she in 1999?
I'll look it up.
The earliest thing I remember Amy Adams in was Catch Me If You Can.
It doesn't matter what the other
which was a very small role.
It doesn't matter.
She really didn't become big until, 2005, 2006? Around the time she was in The Office?
That's none of your business.
Okay. That's true.
He was in a movie in 1999. So, that's her start.
You could have her as MJ, you know.
This is her breakout role.
Okay.
Nick Fury, obviously, we're de-aging Kurt Russell. Put him back in the 90s.
Not much to de-age. He's already young.
We're de-aging him, dude.
What do you mean? What? I don't understand. Okay.
What
year are you? Because I don't know either. What year do you think this would be based?
Well, the original Captain Marvel was early 90s, wasn't it?
It was 1995.
Yeah.
And she disappeared in, I think it was 89, something like that.
Yeah.
It was when she was in the Air Force and disappeared. So I would probably keep it around the same time, just a little bit earlier, probably. I don't know. Maybe I might would try to set this movie in like 89. That way it's like set 10 years before, from the time the first Iron Man happened.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you're going with, but he's already Nick Fury, so he's coming back. Talos, it's the Ben Mendelsohn character. I got Dustin Hoffman coming in the 90s. I can see it. Off the wall casting. Keeping it going with is it Jan Rog? I guess
Yeah.
Yes. I was looking these up. I was like, I didn't remember you saying his name at all.
I don't either.
But I've got Tommy Lee Jones playing the villain.
Okay. It's not bad. Big
in the 90s. See what he could do with this kind of movie, because it's not really a contract, so he's a one-off. The Supreme Intelligence, I know you're going to appreciate it.
You were dissing my Jim Carrey Carnage pick, but you're not going to diss Tommy Lee Jones?
Well, this is an actual role. You know Carnage is going to be the exact same thing as Riddler with Jim Carrey.
No. Yeah.
He's gonna be like, I'm gonna play it exactly that same way. From what I saw from Woody Harrelson in Venom, it seems like the exact same thing. For the Supreme Intelligence, I've got Helen Mirren. So I know you're impressed.
I like Helen Mirren.
For Korath, Keith David, same character he played in Guardians of the Galaxy, keeping him.
Okay.
Ronan, I've got Ray Fiennes coming back too. Agent Coulson, Kevin Spacey, small role again. And then for Maria Rambeau, I got Viola Davis.
Okay. No Minerva?
I had her, and then I didn't know if you were going to keep her. I didn't think she was that important, so I was like, get out of here.
It doesn't matter, yeah. I do have her, though. But so for my Captain Marvel, start things off for my director, I did go with a female director, and I chose Penny Marshall.
Yeah.
Was bigger back then, obviously, so I chose her. So she's leading the ship on this one. For just to kick things off in my returning cast, I have Clint Eastwood coming back as Nick Fury. Tommy Lister coming back as Korath, and Billy Zane coming back as Ronan. Also have Judge Reinhold coming back as Agent Coulson. So those are my returning. So for my, what's funny?
I just forgot you had Judge Reinhold in your movie.
It is the best casting decision in the MCU. So leading this film is, I think there's only one choice to play Captain Marvel in the 90s, and that's Sandra Bullock is playing my Carol Danvers. Perfect choice. Just huge star. You know, she's got comedic chops. She's gonna be action. Yeah, definitely. You know, and going into Phase 4, she's gonna be leading the Avengers, so it's exciting. For Talos, I got Woody Harrelson actually coming in playing that role. I can definitely see it.
He's already Star-Lord, dude.
Nope. He's playing this role. For Minerva, which is a villain, but the smaller kind of villain in the movie, I have Carrie-Anne Moss, who plays in the Matrix films. Yeah. She's coming in that role. Maybe she'll return as another character in Phase 4. I know that in reality they were doing that with that same actress is playing a different character in the Eternal. So maybe I'll do the same thing if we cast that movie. But for Lawson / Marvell, I went with Glenn Close for that. And then finally for the villain, Young Rock, I'm gonna blow your mind here. I chose Patrick Swayze.
God.
As the villain. What's up?
That'd be an interesting choice. I'd have to see it.
Yeah, be interesting. Well, you're not supposed to know he's a villain at first.
You know he's a villain.
So you set it up there, bring in Patrick Swayze, big star. I like him a lot, so yeah. Excited to see that. My version of Captain Marvel there. And then going into that too, let's go ahead and talk about Avengers Endgame, because I don't want to do a whole separate video for Avengers Endgame because we only have to cast one person for that film, even though this is the biggest movie in the MCU. Avengers Endgame in our 90s MCU would have came out in July 1999. Infinity War, as well as Winter Soldier and Civil War, this film, my version is going to be directed by Catherine Bigelow.
Yep.
You know, returning cast members, I got Jeff Bridges as Tony Stark, Mel Gibson as Thor, Brad Pitt as Steve Rogers, Michael Keaton as Bruce Banner, Sharon Stone as Natasha Romanoff, Bill Paxton as Clint Barton / Hawkeye, Carl Weathers as Rhodey, Bruce Willis doing the voice of Rocket, Daryl Hannah as Nebula, Robin Williams as Scott Lang, Meryl Streep as Pepper Potts, Michelle Pfeiffer as Gamora. Actually, I don't have Michelle Pfeiffer as Gamora, do I? I have Robin Wright.
You can't even read your own paper.
Michelle Pfeiffer was one of my earlier choices as that. No, Robin Wright's my Gamora. Sandra Bullock as Carol Danvers, Angela Bassett as Okoye, Arnold coming back obviously as the villain of the film, Thanos, and the last casting choice is Morgan Stark. And I went with Taylor Momsen as Morgan Stark. Around the same time she had The Grinch come out, where she had a big role in that. So bringing her in for this, you know, all the actress has to do in this role is pretty much be cute and can act somewhat, at least. I mean, she doesn't have much to do. I personally don't think they're going to use her that much moving forward. And if they do, it's going to be some sort of time jump where, you know, they probably recast with the other actors.
It's already 5 years later, so you'll get somebody who can more experience with acting anyway.
Well, that's her 5 years later, though.
Well, I'm talking about in the future. I don't think you're going to use her right now.
Oh,
I think
right,
that would mean at least 5 more years if you start using her.
Right. Yeah, but what do you got there? Remind us of your Avengers cast, and then who did you cast as Morgan Stark?
So people coming back: Robin Williams as Iron Man, Brad Pitt as Captain America, Daniel Day-Lewis as Thor, Al Pacino as Bruce Banner / the Hulk. That's where he's learned to mix the two, perfect combination.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to look in the 90s.
It's gonna look amazing. uh, Keanu Reeves, Doctor Strange, coming back at the very end. Jake Gyllenhaal, same thing as Spider-Man. Like I said, no, I don't. That's Ned, dude. He got snapped away. Bigger roles. I got Lucy Liu as Nebula. She plays a bigger role in this movie with the flashbacks. Trying to see who else didn't get snapped. Like you said, Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming back as Thanos. Sigourney Weaver is Pepper Potts. And then my new addition with Morgan Stark, I went with Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, because she's good.
There were so many people born around that time that I would like to see in that role, but they didn't start acting until 2005, 2006. I feel like
Dakota Fanning's a little bit too young.
Well, I looked her up. She was born in 94. She had one acting credit. And then the 2000 is where her acting career really started.
Okay. But she did have an acting credit before this
one before. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was 2000 when it was consistent, so it wouldn't be that far of a stretch.
I'm trying to think of the first thing I remember her in. I think it was I know she was in The Cat in the Hat, but she was in the Man on Fire.
Yeah. There was other people Saoirse Ronan, but it's you didn't start acting until later. So it's a little bit of Margaret Qualley. I think she would have the look, but then it's you didn't start acting till Palo Alto, so.
Yeah. I also thought of Emma Roberts, but I don't think she had an acting credit at that point. So I just went with somebody who I knew was in a movie around that time. So
yeah.
But that's our Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame. The next video we'll be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.